full call today. Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to today's Farmer Office Hours. I'm Jim, I'm the head of ecosystem at Autonomys, and I want to start by thanking each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. It's your presence and engagement that are what make these calls so valuable and helps us drive the project forward. Up on stage with me today are a number of team members. As you can see, we have Randy, a technical community manager. We have Ryan, a community manager. Emil, developer community manager, and Pradeep, our ambassador program manager. And we are very lucky to have Daria, our head of protocol engineering, joining us again, as we're going to be doing some pretty technical activities. And I found that no one is better at explaining the complexities of our network. You have probably noticed that we are back in Discord today. This is purely an exercise in picking the right tool for the job. The Nano Space Race is going to require us to share a number of links and configuration values in the chat with you. And while YouTube is a great platform, and we will be using it more and more going forward, it does have a bit of a lag on a live stream. And we wanted to provide and receive feedback in real time today. And of course, we know it's where many of our farmer community hang out because we're always chatting to you. For those of you who might be new to our community or need a quick reminder, don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. So that's on X, we are at AutonomysNet. On Discord, you can find these links on our website. So it's autonomous.xyz or z /Discord and /Telegram will take you straight to the correct community. Our forum is on forum.autonomous.xyz, and these platforms are of course a great way to stay informed between the calls we hold. And our X account at the moment is positively on fire, so please do check it out. Okay, so what do we have in store today? First, Randy will kick us off with our regular look at the state of the network. Then we're going to launch straight into the Nano Space Race, as it's a multi-part adventure we're going to be running today. I'm also very excited that we'll be unveiling our Big Bang initiatives with you on the call next. And then Ryan will give us an update on the Genesis data contest, which is, well, I don't want to steal Ryan's thunder. Before I highlight the community rewards audit that is underway. And finally, we will have our regular Q&A session where we will start with a check-in on the Nano Space Race progress. As always, feel free to raise your hand in Discord or post any questions in the event stage chat. We'll be picking out questions and adding question marks so that we can cover them in the Q&A at the end. And without further ado, let's ask Randy to give us an update on the state of the network, please. Randy.
Thank you, Jim. So as most everyone knows, the network is still up, but the incentivized version is not. As expected, we've had some decreases in node count and space pledged. So our node count is down 8% to 4613. And our space pledged is down to 10 petabytes, which is about 33% less. Although the incentivized portion is gone, we still are doing updates all the time. Our latest version came out on October 3rd. And with that version, we had basically reduced reading and auditing overhead on Linux and Mac OS, which allows larger farms to be handled with less CPU usage and a lower number of misses. And we have a fix for plotting and farming getting stuck sometimes for specific farms. Now going into the hot topics, we have the reward spreadsheet came out the other day. And Jim is going to speak more about this on the call, but I encourage everyone to audit your results and ask any questions about them. We've had a few users ask questions, and we've been able to confirm the results based on queries of the actual data. So we don't have any problem looking that up. If you have any concerns at all, let us know. The other hot topic is always GPU plotting. We're still looking for feedback on specific AMD cards. We've got a couple that we know work and a couple that we know that don't. So any additional feedback there is greatly appreciated. And one of the questions we're seeing asked is about Windows AMD support at launch. And unfortunately, it's unknown at this point whether we'll have that ready yet. Some users have reported success running under WSL, under windows that way. So give it a try. That's it for the update, Jim.
Thanks very much, Randy. Yeah, so still got very high node count, considering the drop in space. It stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm guessing that a lot of people are still wanting to test things out. You don't have to have your entire farm up, but it would be nice to keep the node going, so it makes testing a lot easier.
Of course, I know that I've been fiddling with things in preparation for mainnet. Thanks, Randy. So, yeah, let's kick things off. Let's get straight into the Nano Space Race. So, as I mentioned, we're very lucky to have Daria with us on the stage today to help us with getting things set up. Something that you may not be aware of is that Daria and I wear more than just one hat for the project. So, as well as being employees of Autonomous Labs, we are also members of the inaugural Subspace Foundation Council. The Subspace Foundation is a Swiss entity that was established back in June 2023 and is responsible for the stewardship and health of the network and its ecosystem, along with a plan for progressive decentralization. We'll talk more on the foundation specifically soon, but for today, it is important context as it is the Subspace Foundation that will launch the mainnet in the coming weeks. Now, before we get into it, I wanted to reflect very briefly on the mini space race we held earlier this year to launch Gemini 3H. For those of us that were here for that or there for it, we remember that it was split into 3 distinct phases. At the moment, we are planning to use those same phases for mainnet, and so we're going to use them today as well. So what are they? First of all, we have the launch pad. This is the initial stage where teams concentrate on setting up the infrastructure required to launch the network. Only a Genesis farmer is authorized to produce blocks. More on that in a minute. And plotting is possible, but will be awkward while we seek data, as the blockchain history will be growing very quickly, which will trigger lots of replots. So looking to the mainnet here, because today we're going to be skipping adding seed data because we want to try and have a network launch live on the call. We want to try and do the whole thing in this next hour or 52 minutes we've got left. After Launchpad, we initiate liftoff, of course. At that point, block authorship is enabled for everyone and the space race is afoot. So it isn't just the Genesis farmer that can produce blocks. And this is where farmers will be able to see that they're getting those successfully signed reward hash messages that I'm sure you will scour your logs for. But of course, there will be no rewards delivered to farmer wallets until stage 3, escape velocity. Which is more of an event than a stage, an ongoing stage, let's say. But this is where farmers have plotted the space race target. Everyone collectively has hit that target. And once the solution range adjusts, which happens every 2016 blocks, to a value above the target, rewards are automatically enabled for farmers. And those reward hash messages deliver farming rewards directly to the specified wallet. So without further ado, let's get the launchpad stage underway. Okay, so launching a network is a bit like baking a cake. Now, bear with me, everyone, on this. We're going to need a few ingredients, and we're going to need to combine them in a way that results in a delicious, fluffy, moist, sweet treat. Let's take a quick run through the raw materials in our kitchen today. And Daria, feel free to jump in because I'm going to need your assistance here. So first up on the list, we have the chain spec, which I believe is about network parameters. Do you want to give us a bit more insight there, Daria?
Yeah, chain spec is always have to be prepared in advance, and it's kind of the blueprint of the network. If you want, it's a number, it's a list of bytes. It's JSON really that has all the information about what the network is going to look like. So it has the token symbol, how many decimals there are in a token, which are 18 in our case, like in Bitcoin. The initial balances are going to be allocated. What is the pseudo key? Who is the on-chain governance council? Are the domains enabled or not? Are the transfers enabled or not? Who's going to be sitting the history? Like all of that information is baked in beforehand, and it's compiled and it's baked into the node, and that is well done, and it's already in the build that you all are downloading on the link that I think has been already provided.
Thanks, Doris. So it's the all the critical information the chain needs to operate, all the config, if you like.
Yeah, and it's also what nodes need to find each other. So like, okay, to find each other, they need a bootstrap. But once they found another peer, they're asking him, "Hey, are you on the same chain as I am?" And it gives you, okay, this is my hash, and you say, okay, this is my hash as well. So then we are on the same chain, and then we can connect and we can continue.
Right. So if we start with different configs, we're going to be talking about different chains, and we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be
Yep.
We're going to be pedaling in different directions. Okay, so the chain spec is very important, of course. And then next we have the timekeeper. So the timekeeper is responsible for providing security against long-range attacks. And it does that by providing elapsed time on the network. This prevents would-be attackers from trying to rewrite history on the chain, as they would have to physically spend the time as well as energy and the resources to make their false history look legit. The timekeeper is an interesting component, as it just has this one single task to do, which it must do well and consistently. And it does that by iterating the AES algorithm as quickly as it can. And that is how it proves elapsed time in a way that cannot be cheated. So getting into the technicalities here, this is exciting for me, of course, because we're going to talk about some hardware. Our timekeeper today is a 14900 KS chip. With all but two of the performance cores disabled and power management tweaked so that we are up to and beyond 5.9 gigahertz. Before we hit mainnet, we expect to push this particular timekeeper to greater speeds with a few pretty safe tweaks. But I was speaking to Nazar, and he explained to me that longer term, our intention is that the timekeeper will actually be able to run on the edge of its operational envelope. But with redundancy, so that the network can handle an instance of a chip being pushed too far and triggering a reboot. So this is an absolutely fascinating subject for me, and we're going to come back to it in the future, I'm sure. But next up, we have the Genesis Farmer. So I mentioned earlier that it's authorized to produce blocks in the chain spec, Daria, but do you want to just fill us in on why do we need a Genesis Farmer?
Unmute hurdles. So basically, if some of you are with us for long enough, I can't even remember which network it was on, but basically, if we don't have a Genesis farmer, everybody who has the same chain spec and the same, Genesis block that's baked into there are going to try to start producing blocks on top of that block. And because the network, when it's just going live for the first time, is so sparse and people don't know each other, there may be very few nodes or a lot of nodes that are coming online trying to find peers, there's a lot of confusion, basically. And which can be okay, but it's very, very mundane to deal with. And people are may have to resync. There's gonna be a lot of forks. We're gonna may have to wipe because they get started a lot of forks. So we just decided to avoid all that, given that we're also going to be doing like history sealing that's kind of reserved to super user. So we're just made it so the very first blocks can only be done by the Genesis farmer, which I am going to be running today. And then as soon as that has gotten a little bit of blocks to get the chain going, all the new nodes that are going to join are going to connect to it, are going to start farming on top of the chain. It kind of like saves us the confusion in the very, very beginning.
Right, I remember that well, Daria. Everyone ending up on different forks. I can't remember what exact iteration of the network is, but I don't know if anyone in the crowd remembers. I'm sure there was a node called I Will Deliver that ended up on the chain and leading the telemetry for quite some time on a non-canonical fork. Is an interesting thing, but okay, so we need the Genesis farmer to try and prevent forks while our space pledge is low and we're susceptible to them. So that's another one of our ingredients, of course. A couple of kind of more infrastructure side of things. We need a bootstrap node, and the bootstrap node allows nodes, when they join the network, they speak to the bootstrap node and they get a list of active nodes so they can start chatting to them. And of course, this is an important piece of the puzzle, because if a new node is unable to contact the Bootstrap servers, then it is unable to start participating in consensus. And won't allow any connected farmers to earn rewards. So if you've got a farmer connected to that node and the node can't speak to the Bootstrap servers, it's not going to earn rewards because it's not participating in consensus. And then finally, RPC node. Our humble RPC, of course, we need to see what's going on inside the network, and we're going to use that for monitoring purposes. Okay, so there are our raw ingredients, our dry ingredients, if you like. So let's take a look now at how we're going to work them into a magnificent cake. So I'm going to be switching screens a little bit here, guys, so bear with me. But first of all, we need to inject some randomness into our network. This is important as it means no one else has been able to construct a copy of our network before launch, which they could use to attempt an attack. So if we told you guys what the proof of time entropy seed was going to be beforehand, you could already be running the network if you had a bunch of other stuff set up as well. So to do that today, and just give me 1 second, because I want to switch windows here. Okay, today we're going to use the same seed as we used in the mini space race. We used the latest Bitcoin block hash. Okay, so you can see here that the latest Bitcoin block is 864919. So let's take a look at this guy. Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to take the hash, which is this value here, and you can see that everything. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. And I'm going to post it in the chat here. Oh. There we go. Okay, I'm also going to send it to Dario quickly. There we go, because I know Dario is now going to use that.
Yeah, and just to like clarify a little bit for the live call, we're just gonna announce it a little bit beforehand that we're gonna wait like whatever 100 blocks, and then the block number, this one it's the hash that we're gonna use. It's just like here we're like cutting corners to make this quick and just taking the last one. But yeah, it's gonna be more fancy and the day it actually comes.
Yeah. Okay, I probably could be oversharing a little bit, couldn't I? Okay, so what we are now going to do is we are going to use that entropy, that seed, because it's important, of course, that all the network participants share this special entropy seed, or they won't think they're talking about the same chain. So it's absolutely critical that everyone, like you guys should be copying that down into your Notepad++ right now, because you're going to need it in a minute. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to use that as our seed value. Now, it's important to point out that today is going to be a bit more manual in some ways than mainnet launch. Because if you want to join mainnet like at the very start, like on the mainnet launch call, for example, you're going to need to provide this entropy key on the command line in the same way we are today. But after launch, sorry, we will add the key to the chain spec, so you can download an official release, a release build, and not need to provide it externally. Okay, so before I give everyone the command, let's get our infrastructure up. So in the background, what I am doing is I'm changing an env file, and I am adding the entropy seed. And now you can see me bring up our timekeeper, which hopefully I haven't messed up. But this is what a timekeeper looks like. So this guy is now kind of beating the drum, the beating heart. And Dario, you've started before me, haven't you?
Yeah, I tried to, but it's still starting.
Okay. So we did see this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, this can be happening because we had, we tried to launch it again today. And so you may be trying to get on the old chain as still. Are you sure you have updated your proof of time seed? And saved the file where you input it in?
I've saved the file. Let me just try something quickly. Nothing like a live demo, guys.
The thing is, the funny thing is, like, we've tried this like 3 hours before this, Jim. No, it was perfect.
No.
Oh.
Come on. Oh. Okay, well that's new. I definitely have the right version, don't I? We haven't moved on from the DA8C commit.
No, yeah, it should be still DA8. Whatever was that? I haven't rebuilt it.
Let me just try this once more. I promise you guys, this did work perfectly earlier. Oh, okay.
Nothing like a live demo.
This is why we're doing it, of course.
Yeah, and then we also like tried yesterday with the whole team, and it also worked. Like Randy and Emil were on that network. Um,
So are you seeing okay, so that block is
that's
two.
the old one.
So that is what we can tell is that because yeah, this is the network that we were running previously. Let me just double check. So got the right entropy seed. Okay. So we've deleted the volumes. Any help in the chat? Bootstrap node was, so we've been using the same bootstrap node as our. Okay. Wonder if the end variables are not being updated for some reason. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the residue of, like, as just Nazar saying, because we have tested this on this very same machines beforehand, they still have the old files. Because it's the build that I did this morning, and we did test it with Gem, and we did produce those 1,000 blocks that he is working on. So hang on there a little bit. We're just gonna clean up the folders on the nodes and then restart it again.
So I can see the files being modified. Is that you, Daria?
No, that's Mohammed.
Mohammed. Okay.
It's our DevOps who's more expert than I am, who has been always in the shadows.
Oh, right. Okay. So Nazar's just nailed it. Hang on. No, it is a volume. The key store though is being stored locally. Could that be it, Nazar? We could have solved the problem that we had earlier here. Okay, so I could just see volumes. We have a volume set in Docker, and we have a key store file. I'm not sure what that's for. Okay, let me see. What can we do while we wait for the
I can feed you some promises, guys. One promise is that you have to bear with us. You know, we're testing it, and we decided to do this live because you guys deserve it. No, and live demos don't always go well, unfortunately. So this is one of those situations, and I guess the lesson learned here, we need to vibe several times before we're gonna attempt this again. So lesson learned. What I was going to say, so in this particular build, it is on a branch, so it's not merged on main. One of the reasons to that is because I have baked into there your farmer allocations from the spreadsheet that has been shared. Those are not final because they're also missing, you know, all the team, all the advisors that we had, all the other vendors that we've given token grants to, all of those things. But just to test they're fed correctly. So when we actually manage to put this up, you will be able to go to polka.js and see if your wallet has the tokens. So that should work. So that's one of the things we have there. They're also supposed to be the fix for GPU plotting. There was recently merged. However, because it was just merged like basically 12 hours ago, maybe even less, we have not been able to actually confirm that it works. So it may or may not work, and we really want your feedback, whether it, you know, the fix has fixed or it does not fixed. So if you have a GPU, I would be really curious to know if you are seeing any errors on this build. I think it's getting
So we're back to, yeah, we have best zero. So all I did was the same thing we did earlier, Daria. Okay, so anyone who of our listeners or in our audience who works in software developer as a software developer, deleting it twice seems to be the fix here. And okay, I'm cautiously optimistic that this might be working now. Okay, so are you bringing the sorry?
Looks like they're up.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah,
so now,
the Genesis hash is correct. So if you are seeing that the Genesis, if you're spinning up nodes, guys can look that the Genesis hash is the 0x42DD. Should be the correct one.
so right, so we can crack on. So now that we have our timekeeper up and busily proving the time elapsed to the chain, we're going to need some more infrastructure to really bring the flavors out. We're back in the kitchen, guys. We've got the mixing bowl on the side. We've got the timekeeper in it. But now Daria, of course, is going to fold in the Genesis farmer, the Bootstrap node, and the RPC node. So Daria, while you're doing that, I'm actually going to share some commands in the chat, guys, because this is where, oh, why is okay. This is where you can start to participate. So you're going to see that there are some values there. So you've got your node command there. So you need, first of all, guys, you need to make sure that you've got the build that are linked at the top. You will need to be logged into GitHub to download those. Now, of course, I put some angle brackets in there. So let me just have a quick run through. So we have, you're going to need to provide a name if you want to. You don't have to, of course. You probably are going to want to override your base path. So I'm talking about the node here. Everything else is fine, apart from that final item, which is the proof of time external entropy, where you're going to need to provide the value, the Bitcoin block hash. So, and then same directions as the node for the farmer to change the values as appropriate. Something to point out here is that this is actually for Windows because I am also going to try and run this, guys. So let's going to pop over here and let's see if I can get it to work. So I'm using a particular port as well, of course. So I'm sure that you guys have your own port that you're using. So you can see I have got the wrong entropy key, or do I? Hang on, let me find it again. Yeah, yeah, I've got the old one. So that would have me trying to connect to the wrong network. So let's just fix that quickly. But everything else should be the same. As I say, you've got listen on and DSN listen on there. So because I've got 30333, 334, 335, this machine is actually going to use 336 and 436 to access the network. Hopefully that makes sense, but you guys might not need that if this is your only machine on your network. Okay, so let's see if we can go 2 for 2 here. Let's see if we have. Okay, so we've got 5 peers on the timekeeper. Daria, how are you getting on with the Genesis farmer?
Plotting.
You're plotting, okay.
Yep, and I need to plot at least one sector to be able to start farming blocks, and this is like not one of your fancy GPU machines. It's just a little machine that's probably gonna take like 5 minutes. So just like stay there.
Okay.
Oh,
I can
8
see
peers. I now see peer count going up.
things are definitely happening. We've got something that's starting to look like a cake mixture going on. We'll just probably just let it stand for a few minutes just to make sure that all the ingredients are talking to each other. We should see them
Yep.
binding together in the bowl, as proved by the Genesis farmer producing blocks. And obviously I'm a little bit ahead of myself earlier, but when we tested this earlier, it was about now that we started to see this best figure here start to increase.
In fact, I just got initial plotting complete. Your timing is perfect, Jim.
Okay. So
Well, plotting complete, so now I have to start farming. I think if your timekeeper is up, so let's give it a minute. The things, just be calm.
just let those flavors mix together. We're marinating. Oh, look what's just happened. Just as I flicked over, we've got inputted number 1.
Yeah. Got a first block in, second block in. Nice. Okay, now
Okay.
we got this going. For people who are connecting their farmers, please do not pledge too much space. Otherwise, that's going to bring all the forks back, because the network right now expects there is just like one farmer that has very little space. So the difficulty for solutions for your audit is going to be very low. So if everybody just puts a lot of storage, we're going to see a lot of forks again, because everybody's just going to have winning blocks at every second, and they're going to start arguing with each other. And this coins are not incentivized, so you don't have to farm them all.
So absolutely, like we're gonna, if we say 10 gig, everyone, that would be really great. And of course, it's time to add some fruit to the mix. Of course, that means it's time for you guys to get stuck in. So where are we up to? We're up to 9 peers. I can see people are joining. Remember, you're going to need to provide the entropy seed on the command line. So yeah, like far away, guys. But as Daria says, we know that we've got guys out there who can plot 10 gig in quicker than it takes me to say this sentence. But it's just a bit of fun, guys. You know, this is our first public try, as proved by all the problems. Yeah, like follow along. I'm going to try and bring up a farmer in a minute. Before your very eyes. But what you have to remember, of course, is that it's only the Genesis farmer that's able to produce those blocks at the moment. So if you're plotting 10 gig in 60 seconds, then yeah, you don't expect to see those successfully signed reward hash messages just yet. And that's expected, of course, because we can't ice the cake before we've baked it. So yeah, I've given you my node and farmer command, so I'm just going to go ahead now and let's see what happens if I try and run a farmer. Probably going to be, it's probably going to blow up, guys, but that's what we're here to see, really, isn't it? So I've got my 10 gig there, I've got the right build, got the right port, my node is in sync. We don't see them connect anymore since Substrate updated the behavior. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm plotting. It's looking good. Is anyone having trouble? Let's catch up in the chat. Thanks, Todd. Geekiest farmer office hours of all time. Right, you were here to see it live. Okay, right, guys. So you can see, piece cache syncing. Of course, we're not going to have many complaints about the piece cache sync today because we haven't seeded any data. It's all very quiet in the blockchain history at the moment. But what I can see, of course, is that we have our timekeeper up and running over here, happily importing blocks. My node is in sync and staying in sync, and my farmer is plotting, and that makes for a very happy farmer, of course. So I've got a slide. Let's do the dance here. And I'm going to share the slides again. I feel like this is better than it going perfectly, Daria. It's probably more entertaining. Okay, right. So what do we need to do next? Okay, so basically what we've just done is we've done it a little bit higgledy-piggledy. We were supposed to just do the launch pad, which was Daria and I bringing up the infrastructure for you guys to connect to. But of course, the next phase is liftoff, okay, where we activate we enable block authorship by anyone. So remember, this is our first Nano Space Race. So if you are having problems, we want to hear about them. That's what we're all here for today. If anyone wants to help me with our problems, that's great. We are monitoring the chat, so please shout if you hit a blocker. And now we have our cake ready for the oven, of course, because Daria is going to turn the gas on and enable authoring for everyone next. That does mean that she's hopefully in the background now submitting an extrinsic to do that. This will initiate the liftoff phase of our Nano Space Race today. That will take a few blocks to confirm. So while she does that, we will take a look at some more exciting ways that you can get involved with the network in the short wait for the impending mainnet launch. And of course, win some cool prizes. So, up first we have, it's me, of course, because I'm going to tell you what the Big Bang is. We're excited to officially kick off the Autonomous Network Big Bang. I'm all discombobulated because we've saved it from the jaws of victory there, or the jaws of defeat. So yeah, we're marking the start today with the Big Bang of a series of dynamic community campaigns and events designed to garner more creativity, fuel collaboration, and supercharge community-wide engagement as we gear up for our mainnet Phase 1 launch. Whether you're showcasing your farming rigs in the Legacy to Launch Big Rig Showdown, that's a mouthful, battling it out in the Knockout Meme Contest, tracking community pledge space in the Space Race Plotometer campaign, or leaving your mark on our on-chain graffiti wall, the Big Bang offers something for everyone. Each campaign invites participants to channel their skills, ideas, and energy, creating an immersive community experience that leads us to the next chapter in our network's journey. As we approach Mainnet Phase 1, let's celebrate this journey with a shared sense of purpose and excitement. From taking pride in showing off your farming hardware or trying to create the funniest memes, to exercising your creative and artistic skills, the Big Bang embodies the spirit of innovation and collaboration that defines the autonomous network's role as the foundation layer for AI 3.0. Join the Big Bang, contribute to our shared vision, and be part of a movement that is set to leave a lasting impact as we transition from our testnet era that we said goodbye to last week into an even more vibrant and dynamic mainnet phase 1. And without further ado, Ryan, do you want to give us a rundown on our first Big Bang initiative?
Yeah, yes, thank you, Jim, for the introduction. I cannot wait to introduce the Big Bang Knockout Meme Tournament. This is your time to compete. Your time to compete to see who is funnier. Who is the one community member that can make people laugh more than anybody else? Our bar is set pretty high because here are our past winners. Next slide, please. Hey, babe, I want you to know I love you. I love you more, baby. But do you love me more than subspace? Are you kidding me? Know your limits. These are the funny memes that we've gotten in the past contests, so we really do expect some high quality memes and just have fun with it, you know? You can make fun of us, it's okay. We get it, you know? That's why it's funny. Next slide, please. And of course, Jim always makes announcements in the morning, so I would rather look at the announcement than talk to my fake wife. But this meme contest is truly a big deal because we really do have funny Autonomous team members. I personally think Ferdique is the funniest, but whoever wins this contest will truly get my respect. And I've seen 2 meme contests now, so I'm really excited for this third one. I really want to see some good work. So let's start getting into some logistics. The contest kicks off today, right after this call. There's a forum post already up on the forums, and the submissions will run for a week before mainnet phase 1 launch. But there's a little twist from the normal meme contest format. We're doing it tournament style. What does this mean? The top 16 submissions will be chosen, and then in the next few weeks, community members will vote for the favorite in rounds. So you'll be paired up with one other person to compete in a bracket. So there's 16 submissions, half to 8, half to 4 submissions, half to 2, which is the finals, and finally there's one Autonomous community member crowned as the winner. Let's talk about awards. Anyone who makes it to the semifinals, which is the round of 4, will receive an award. The top winner, the number 1 meme maker, will get a full merch package with our exclusive legacy items. This is about 5 items that are worth $200 USD. The runner-up gets to choose 3 items from our store, and the semifinalists, which is the 3rd place and 4th place, get 1 item from our store. The rules are quite simple. Do not be offensive and be in line with our community standards, and only use original work. I've run every single meme contest here at Autonomous, so I will know if you copy someone else's work. In fact, it's public knowledge. It's in the forum. It's in the Discord. And only 1 entry per user. As always, terms and conditions apply. That means merch shipping restrictions through our provider Printful and community initiative restrictions. Truly, if you think you're funny, let's test it. If you think you even have an ounce of humor, come bring your A game. Show us what you got and let the meme wars begin. That's all from me. Off to you, Ferdique.
Oh, that sounds awesome, Ryan. I do hope I'll switch my camera off. I do hope the streaming doesn't get somehow interrupted. But yeah, this is the onset of us a series of very very exciting, very engaging journeys and adventures where we are promoting. The meme one being at the behest of it, but followed by an equally interesting one, which is check this out: the on-chain graffiti wall contest. Now, let me state the obvious right from the start. Art is a transformative force. Okay, and street art graffiti is no difference. I mean, some see street art as just paint on the wall, but at a closer look, the stencils that you see there, they embark on a conversation with the viewer, and this on-chain relation that we proposing, this is a team effort. This on-chain relation that we're gonna propose is right at the mainnet launch. Will try to mark a very powerful artsy relationship with the protocol. The same way we establish a relationship with the viewer. Truth like art is in the eye of the beholder, they say. So, but make no mistake, it's a team effort. We gotta make it big. We gotta make it great, and if successful, if engaging, and if meaningful to the entire community, this on-set street art has the potential to become a dialogue with a reflection of the blockchain's souls, no less. Now, hence a call to action to all of digital banks in the community. Let's make all crypto and AI ecosystems out there take notice. Let's inspire them change. Let them see beyond what the everyday cause is. And I'm not stretching things here. After all, this is what Web3 is all about, ain't it? Making people see beyond the everyday cause. So just throwing some inspirations out there. That 30%, it might be awesome if someone could bring some of its colors and life into the mainnet. I know a number of iconoclasts, the fan of iconic tattoos. How about something similar to fairies, iconic imagery on chain? Wouldn't that be awesome? Let's prove to anyone in the space looking out for us that art can not only exist at the geeky technical intersection of Web3 and AI, but can also touch and move the community in profound ways. But like I said, these are just some examples that come to mind. Remember, you are the content creator, you are the artist, and the Autonomys DSN will become, let's say, your canvas, where the top 25 images will be orderly plastered, orderly located within this wall that will be rendered and in a high resolution image and rendered for eternity right after Monset. In other words, Autonomous City will become your stage. Now, please makes us believers. Go there, paint your vision, enjoy on how you see the world of Autonomous, and above all, let's provoke thought in the community. And by the way, get rewarded in the process. Yes, there are interesting prices out there. There are also for grabs in the contest. I'm just about to shoot the forum post with all the deets about the rules, the rewards, and so not, and open the gates of the on-chain graffiti channel when you will be able to submit your images and your art. Let's make this awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Emil, drop mic to you.
All right. Let's go, everyone. So the next contest that we're going to unveil as a part of a Big Bang is a Space Race Plotometer. So all the geeks unite, and here we go. Your mission is to create a dynamic, custom website that visually tracks the pledge storage in real time. Imagine a thermometer which feels from 0 and upwards as the more storage is pledged. And once the plotometer meter reaches its maximum, it's the end of Space Race. Rewards will be unlocked for everyone. So how can you participate? First of all, you gotta get creative. You can either start from scratch and use some available tooling like the Auto SDK in order to build your project, or we will also actually build the demo repository as a part of the foundation for the contest, which has all the code required in order to get you started. And just at the end of this presentation, I'm gonna do a quick demo and walk you through the code just very briefly. Second, design and develop. You can modify the styling. You can apply some cool CSS and to truly make your submission stand out. We're looking for innovative designs that can excite and engage the community at the same time. And in order to submit your project, or to submit your website, join us at the developer channel on Discord and post a link to your project to the website with the hashtag SpaceRacePlotometer. So, but there is one more. There is one more cool and very exciting thing. Do you think you can predict the future? Try to guess the duration of space race and submit your prediction for the space race end date in UTC format, also in a developer chat on Discord, using another hashtag, space race duration prediction. And as for the rewards, the author of the best website will be decided and voted by the Autonomous team, and will get $500 for their project. And the person who gets the best prediction for the duration of the space race will get unique, exclusive Autonomous merch that Chris and Macy showed you the last time on the Autonomous Unveiled event. All right, now I think it's time for the quick demo. So I'm just gonna take control of the screen for just a second. Thank you, Jim. All right, so we're gonna link the repo at the forum post, and you can also share it in the chat. But here's how it works. It works very easily. It's just a few quick line of codes. So what we're using here is the Auto SDK, so the software development kit available for the Autonomous network. And all the thing that we need is just basically two functions. Activate, which connects the application to the Autonomous RPC, to the API, and the space pledge. That's the function which basically gets you the total space pledged. So I'm using the Express.js here in order to create the API endpoint for the front end to connect to the API, which basically gets the space pledge from the SDK, from the RPC endpoint of the public network. And I'm using Gemini 3H just for now, but of course, like once we switch to the mainnet, you have to adjust the RPC endpoint and use the RPC endpoint of the mainnet. And on front end, it looks even simpler. So I just using some inline styling here. So that's exactly what you have to go and modify. And over here, I have just a few functions, which basically every second they trigger the API request, and they get the information about the storage pledged. And then it goes through the magic of the CSS in order to convert the data, the integer, to basically show it on the screen. So I have the server running. So as soon as I click on enter, you will see the demo. And you just been a friendly warning. It has some flashing images. So yeah, you've been warned. Here you go. So that's the space race platometer that I built probably in 30 or 40 minutes yesterday evening. So don't judge me too harsh on the code, on the cleanliness of the code, and on the design. But they just here you have it. So you can use this project as per inspiration and just work on some custom CSS. Yeah, really looking forward to all the interesting and cool websites you're gonna come up with. Yeah, looking forward to submissions. And now it's over to Randy.
Hello, everyone. I'm not sure I can convey the energy and enthusiasm that my team members have, but let me assure you, I'm very interested in this sort of thing. We have a big rig showdown coming up. This is your chance to show off your farming and plotting rigs, and we've got some good rewards here. $300 USDC for first place, $200 for second, and $100 for third. And you'll be able to enter by posting your photo and or video with a description in the Big Rig Channel Contest or Big Rig Contest channel on Discord, and we'll be creating that later today. Next slide, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, got it. So your description should include specifications, what specs you have on the hardware, any unique features you might have, any custom modifications. And we have bonus points for sharing your personal interest with Autonomys. How did you discover it? When did you start participating? Describe any previous hardware setups you might have had, and sharing your experience with the GPU plotter. Many of us remember that we had a very similar contest in January, starting in January of this year. And this was before I was a staff member, and I entered my own equipment in there. And I actually won an award from this contest. So I'm really excited about the hardware side of things. The hardware Discord channel is one of my favorite places to go because I get to see different people posting different solutions to the problem. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's solution here. Thank you. Back to you, Jim.
Guys, I'm almost speechless. Amazing, guys. It's you've really brought the energy. I'm so proud of our team. So in case you don't know, that's collectively the ecosystem team there, delivering the big bang, guys. If you haven't been able to follow along, there are forum posts coming out. All the rules, everything else is still going to be laid out. You can digest it at your leisure. You're probably all fiddling with your farmers. I know I've been checking backwards and forwards, but yeah, we'd love to see participation, merch, USDC, all that good stuff. Yeah, jump in, guys. We love to see participation, which is actually leads us quite nicely into, I think Ryan wants to just give us a quick reminder about a certain ongoing contest we've got going on. Is that right, Ryan?
So today is the final day to vote. All you have to do is go to our Genesis Data Contest channel and react with the Autonomys logo. I want to shout out 2 cool submissions I saw this morning. Where's Zolkis? Is Zolkis here? He's here. Okay, the cat. All right, he submitted his own logo into the Genesis Data Contest, which is pretty cool. And the photo on the left is 100 photos from the hardware channel put into our logo. So I know the design people really like that. And that was made by InnoTick, which is so creative, very creative, much more creative than anything I could think of. As a reminder, the awards are quite big for this one. The community favorite will receive a full Autonomous merch package with our legacy merch. That's about 5 items. So don't miss out. Please vote for your community members. We are community, stay strong. And there's also 2 other awards for this contest, but that's ambassador favorite and team favorite. So that's all from me. Jim, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. And I can't agree more. I think that image, the collage with the Autonomous logo, absolutely amazing in Utic. And of course, Zolkis has been around for a while. I imagine Zolkis is going to be interested in Emil's repo. Because of course Zolkis delivered a really wonderful countdown timer as we kind of counted down, oddly enough, the blocks to launching the incentivized testnet on Gemini 3. I remember it well, Zolkis, and I know you've got a developer in you bursting to get out and participate in that initiative. So I look forward to seeing that. Okay, guys, I know we are almost at time, but we don't seem to have a lot of questions. It means everyone is farming away. But I do just want to quickly talk about the community rewards audit because it is important. So last week, we put an announcement out in Discord that signified us kicking off an important task on our to-do list. That task is the community rewards audit. And as we shared in our recent roadmap updates, it's one of the critical steps on our journey to mainnet. While we're building a streamlined UI in Astral to make this process as smooth as possible, setting it up is taking us a little bit longer than anticipated, unfortunately. But we didn't want to delay the audit and to give our farmers early visibility into their rewards. The Subspace Foundation has published preview spreadsheets on their GitHub. There is some brief accompanying documentation in the README, but the goal is still to provide a more comprehensive experience in Astral as soon as possible. And one note I do need to make here, if you follow the link that we've got there, I'm going to drop it in the chat in a minute. Some of the figures are rounded to 2 decimal places. It's just due to the spreadsheet limitations. We are aware of this and it will be addressed in the final version. But of course, this is where we need your help. So please follow that link, review the data and let us know if you have any questions about the calculations or spot any potential discrepancies. If you find something that looks off, provide a clear explanation with references to the source data and a worked example, ideally. And of course, feel free to reach out to the team here in Discord or email myself. I'm Jim@autonomous.xyz. Remember, this is a community audit And once the Genesis block, based on the chain spec, as we were talking about earlier, is created at mainnet, these balances will be final. There is also a pinned thread in the general chat channel in Discord, which has Q&A for the commonly asked questions we've seen so far. There's only a couple in there, but I'm planning on adding to that if I see a common theme recurring. Sorry, my notes just jumped. Where have they gone? At the moment, it seems we do have consensus that the calculations are accurate, which is, of course, what we expected. But nice to see our community rallying around and helping us out. You can find the spreadsheet station at this link, guys, to save you typing it out. But something that you may have missed, if you joined that first wave of auditors, if you saw the announcement come out in Discord, I think it was end of last week, you may not have noticed that the repo has been updated with a couple of graphics which try and explain what needs checking. So let's just take a quick look at those. I'm hoping that they're coming out reasonably well for you. It's got some very small text on it. So this is the amount allocated to and the mechanics of each of the testnet phases. As I say, it's probably a little bit hard to see here, but there's a very clear version on GitHub. Second, we have a breakdown of the boundary blocks on the Gemini 3 testnet, which of course we need the boundary blocks. We need to know those because it ran across Gemini 3F, 3G and 3H. And we also actually had 2 reward pools in the end because we did align emissions with mainnet, and that was as a result of the modeling, the simulation, the token economics, the process that we went through with block science. So there are 2 reward pools. If there are any questions, please do tag myself or another member of the ecosystem team, and we will do our best to get you answers as quickly as possible. So thank you in advance for your support and diligence, and stay tuned for updates on the Astral Rewards Checker. We talk about it on every DevSync video. So there was one dropped on Monday. If you check in our social feeds channel, you'll find it, or our YouTube channel, you'll find it in the DevSync, Developer Sync playlist there. So Daria, should we pop back in the kitchen? You know what? It smells great in here. Let's see how our cake is looking by bringing up telemetry and seeing what we have. Daria, have you how are we doing? Because I haven't had a chance to check. Let's see. Have I plotted anything yet?
We've down to 2 second, 300 millisecond blocks out of 6 seconds that were expected. So obviously my estimation of your guys' participation was low. But it's good. It's good that people are ramping up. And so we're now at the block 676, 78, and it grows up every 2 seconds. And I have popped the link to the telemetry in the chat, so you can all follow along. To set the expectations, we're not gonna beat the space race, in this call, because our solution range, which is used to measure the space for the rewards, adjusts every 2,000 blocks. And I've set it in a way today that is supposed to take like 6,000 blocks to get where I've set it, which was kind of like 50 gigabyte. But the thing there is it cannot adjust in one jump due to like security reasons. If you're interested, I think we have some explanation of that in the forum. It can only quadruple every time. So we should get there in like by the block 6,000 something, which is in several hours. So I guess we're gonna be checking in on that tomorrow. But it's looking great. It looks like people are farming, blocks are going in. Nobody is reporting any particular horrible errors, or at least the 20 people that they've gotten here. Once we do reach the space rate target, you are supposed to be seeing block rewards coming in Polkadot.js, and I can also send the link to that one here in chat. As you can see here, there are recent events like farmer vote or block. when the rewards are activated, you're going to start seeing like block reward in that. And at that point, you can safely like shut down your nodes. We don't need this network to run forever. We're going to probably relaunch it internally like 5 more times before it gets real. But like bear with us for this next 8-ish hours.
So what I'm taking away there is that no one's had a problem. I can't see. We'll check questions in a minute. I realise we're over time, but hopefully you guys can stick with us because we'll do a Q&A as usual. But what we've seen is that we've got very our farmers, as always, have amazed us with their participation and smashed the amount of space that we were expecting to be plotted on our Nano Space Race, which has made the blocks extremely fast. Is that what you were suggesting there, Daria?
Well, yeah, we expect, on a normal networks, blocks to be every 6 seconds. And if the blocks are now every 2 to 3 seconds, it means that there's like at least twice as much space as I have anticipated. For example, the math there is a little more complicated because there are also forks and there are more solutions and there is like a communication delay. So there's probably even more space than is actually accurately reflected in the average time to farming, because that's more of an accurate on a longer term. In this very, very early stages, it's less a reliable metric. But if it looks like everybody's farming pretty quickly, which is a good sign. And I did want to give a shout out to Mohammed, our DevOps, who's been here behind the scenes monitoring all the logs and helping us wipe the drives before. Even though he's not on stage, we wouldn't be here without him and without Nazar, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mohammed. We really appreciate that. Okay. I think for posterity, I just want to record what the timekeeper looks like, just to show everyone, what you've done. So we aim for 6-second blocks. Let's just take a quick look here, because as you can see, okay, we're getting, they're slightly faster than 6 seconds, I'd say. Interesting artifact of running this little test. Okay, so before we move into Q&A, I'm interested. So guys, I'm interested to know, when do people think we're going to smash the target? I know that Daria said, we have to wait for a certain number of blocks, but just for a little bit of fun, let's see if we can take a guess at when that's going to occur, based on block speed. Do we have the space pledged? I've got some questions here, of course. Do we have the space pledged? I think we probably do. We talked about the solution range adjusting, and of course our cake. The rewards will be the icing on the cake, guys. You knew I was going to bring it back to the cake. And the fact that all of you guys helped us today is our cherry on top. So we thank you very much for that. Despite a few teething problems, unfortunately, Mohammed was there to save us. Nazar supporting from the chat. It was a team effort, like so much in Autonomous. It was a bit of a success, but I think there's room for Nano Space Race 2, maybe Micro Space Race. Maybe that fits. I think we can probably park the Nano Space Race for the minute. And let's do some Q&A, shall we, guys? Have my moderators been in and been marking questions, guys? I don't know if anyone wants to jump in and take one first. I'm just going to try and catch up on the chat. As you can tell by the way my head's swiveling around, I'm trying to manage all this across several monitors. No, Randy's a fan of the ultra wide, which I must admit, when I'm doing this, it looks more and more attractive. Okay, I'm back to the start of the chat, guys. Did anyone not get started? Did anyone's farmer or node fail to come up? I'm looking for question marks, guys. So if you have something important you want to ask, make sure it's got a question mark on it or edit now. I see some cakes. See several cakes. Excellent. I'm not sure what we're going to cook next. Oh yes, Alex Hake, Docker, of course. We know you're a Docker maximalist. I must admit, I like it myself. I'm not seeing any question. Oh, okay. Will Reborn? Will plots from Nano Race be compatible with mainnet? No, Reborn. This is just a bit of this is just a test. This is for us to practice mainnet launch. So we've been doing it internally several times, and we promise it has gone well. But we wanted to, gradually include more and more people because it allows us to build muscle memory around the process. It gives you guys an insight. I know that you're going to be there, poised with your command, waiting for that entropy key come mainnet launch. But no, this is not mainnet, and we may well run another Nano Space Race with a different Genesis, which will be a different network in effect, of course. Any more question marks? Mainnet started, Dresco PC1. Same answer. No, this isn't mainnet. Soon, TM.
I didn't see any other questions, Jim.
Okay, thanks, Randy. We are over time, guys. So I really appreciate everyone hanging around, and I will catch up on the chat in a bit. I always read through everything that happened during the call, even if I can't keep up with it on the call itself. So I don't think there's much left to do but wrap up, because fellow farmers and valued members of the Autonomous community, as we wrap up today's Farmer Office Hours, I want to take a moment, as always, to reflect on the incredible journey we're on together. Just like tending to crops, building a robust and thriving network takes time, and a cake as well. Patience and dedication, and you, our farmers, are the backbone of this ecosystem. I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who joined us live today. Your presence, questions, not many today though, and insights are what makes these calls so valuable. Whether you're a seasoned farmer with petabytes of space pledged or just starting out with Space Acres, your contribution is essential to our growth. This call will be available on YouTube shortly, along with some supporting blog and forum posts. I'm just gonna, sorry, bear with me. I'm going to switch because I have a slide where we've got some stuff that's going on. The streaming platform we were using was much slicker. Oh, and my video's dropped off now as well. I don't know why that's happened. Apologies. Yeah, so, and of course, we'll be continuing this party over in Discord as we home in on the Nano Space Race target. Get to taste that cake. In addition, we have team at the permissionless conference right now in Salt Lake City. If you're attending, please do come and say hi. I'm not sure if Jeremy's still in the chat. I know he's busy, but he's out there with Chris, and we love connecting with our community at these events. And if you're not sure where to find us, give one of us up on the stage a ping in Discord, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction. Don't forget that it's the last day of voting for the Genesis Data Contest. Keep your eyes open for the judging results, which will be coming shortly. And of course, we want to see as many of you as possible taking part in our Big Bang initiatives. There are some great prizes up for grabs, and we're looking forward to seeing the creativity it sparks within our community. There will be a blog post coming out providing a summary of the contests and links to the individual forum posts for all those Big Bang initiatives, and do check out the community rewards audit, please. This is a collaborative effort that keeps everyone honest and is an opportunity to see how your participation in our test nets gets translated into mainnet tokens. You can go in there and get an actual ATC figure. Finally, if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter. We are at AutonomousNet, and help us spread the word by liking and reposting our announcements. Every bit of engagement helps us as we gear up for mainnet. So thank you once again for spending your time with us. Keep an eye on our socials for future announcements, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. But until then, keep farming, keep questioning, and as always, stay connected. Thanks, everyone.